live in the present tense with Sam Stewart on 91.7 FM, WNJR Washington, and online at WNJR.org. Folks, we are back for another episode tonight after having a great episode with field hockey coach, Coach Maggie. That was a great conversation. Really insightful stuff from Coach there. And tonight, we've got a great episode lined up for you as well. My first guest on the show tonight is a former PAC Offensive Player of the Week and President of the Week. He was also named to the honorable mention for the PAC All-Team rosters. This sophomore quarterback from Jefferson Hills, PA, has 12 touchdowns through the air this year and 7 with his feet. Oh, and did I mention he also returns punts and kicks for the Presidents? Everyone, welcome on the show tonight, Jake Pugh. Jake, how you doing tonight?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate that.
Dude, I'm excited to have you on tonight. So, Jake, we have some big news here that came out a couple days ago. You guys were playing in the ASA S. Bushnell Bowl versus Hobart, and look, this is the first time WJ has played this team in 80 years. 1941, 1942, WJ played them in consecutive years. They're actually 2-0 time against the Presidents. So, Jake, I want to ask you off the bat, it's been a great season for the Presidents, a lot of great victories, but I knew you guys want to cap it off with this big one in this bowl game. So what do you think the keys are to taking home a victory in the bowl game Saturday?
Well, I think we just got to stick to ourselves. I think, we got to just play our game the way that we're capable of. From what we've watched on film, they're a great team. They got a lot of talent across the board. But we think we have a couple of different ways that we can get into some gaps and kind of exploit a couple weaknesses in their defense. And I know offensively they have a lot of weapons, and they have some running backs, receivers that can really make plays if you give them open space. So I think defensively, our defensive guys have been great all year, so I'm not worried about them at all. And offensively, I think we're just gonna execute the game plan, and I really do like the game plan going into this week. They're, like you said, we don't know much about them. It's been 80 years. Yeah. So we're hoping to make it 2-1 for them this weekend.
Yeah. Well, you guys have won both matchups.
Oh, we've won both matchups.
Yeah. So 3-0.
3-0. Yeah. Not 2-1.
No, yeah. No, you're all good, boss. And one thing that some of the guys we talked about at lunch today, it's just the fact that you're a quarterback and you return punts and kicks as well. And like some people were like, you should ask him if he likes Taysom Hill. So would you say that's your player comparison? And can you tell us the story of how you let Coach Sirianni, how'd you convince him to let you do punts and kicks while playing quarterback?
I do like Tyee Mcmaster. How could you not? He's the ultimate player. But I don't know. I guess that would be a good comparison. I used to always grow up saying that my comparison was Aaron Rodgers just because I had a phase where I loved him. But now Justin Fields is coming along pretty nice. He likes to run the ball a lot, so maybe I'll call myself him. But no, I'm just kidding. I don't know. We had a couple different players that were back deep returning punts, and a couple kids got banged up.
Right.
And
I know Huss was one of them.
Yeah, Huss had that injury, and Ian Hansen had an ankle injury that was lingering with him. A couple different guys just got hurt, and he was like, "Hey, can you catch the ball?"
Can he catch the ball?
Yeah, and I was I mess with him all the time. I'm like, "Coach, put me back there. Like, I'll score a touchdown." And we're going into the 1 week. I believe it was Allegheny was the first week I did it. And
that was a cold, rainy game too.
It was cold and rainy and windy, and he was like, "Can you just catch the ball?" He's like, "I don't want you to return. You don't have to take a hit. He's like, "Just please go back there and catch the ball." And I was like, "Screw that! I'm gonna try and return." But no, I was like, "Yeah, I could do it." And at that time, we were playing a multiple quarterback system. We were running in and out. I really liked how we were going, and he was just like, "Listen, don't take any. You don't need to be a hero. Just get the ball, get out of bounds, get down, fair catch."
I can see him saying that too.
Yeah. I was like, "Come on, coach." I was like, I want to make a couple plays, but now Ian's back there after the Grove City game. He put Ian back there, and that's a smart choice. Ian's way more athletic, way better in open field than I am. He's more explosive, so it's better that he's back there now. But
I got you. I know you still want to be out there.
Oh, I'd love to do it. No doubt, I'd love to do it.
Dude, that's awesome. Like when you're looking up at a punt, I remember Huss was talking about like that's gotta be a crazy feeling when there are 11 grown men coming down to hit you, and you're just like can't see it. You're like looking up.
Yeah, you really gotta trust your teammates. One, to block those guys, and two, the guys on the sidelines that are screaming like how far away the people are. You really gotta trust them, and then also it's kind of tough because you're like looking up, but like it's human instinct to look down. Like there's guys running at me trying to kill me. Like,
yeah, really.
But I just catch the ball, make a play, whatever happens.
Right.
It's football, so sometimes you get hit a little bit.
Dope. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's why I don't play football. But now you did mention Ian Hansen, and he's one of many young players in this offense who've stepped up after a lot of seniors left last year. Ray Holmes, Paduzzi, Rosati. I mean, freshman Troy Pavati put up some great numbers against Wayneburg. So you're a young player yourself. You're obviously a sophomore, younger than me. But can you speak on the young players that have stepped up on this offense this year?
They're all awesome. They're all big time players, and last year was a great learning experience for us. Most of us are sophomores, some of us juniors, but those juniors are sophomores on the field. They have the COVID year of eligibility, so most of us are all sophomores, and actually Paduzzi and Ian Hansen are freshmen on the field. But they're, we're all just battling out there. We love playing together. We have fun, and that's the biggest key.
Yeah.
But like I said last year, those guys were good role models to show us how it works around here.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of got that freshman season in, like see what it takes, and then now we're just going out there making plays. Just got to do what coach says, and be an athlete out there. And it's really nice to have guys like that around you, because like for me being a quarterback, I know if I put the ball anywhere within reach of any of those guys, they're going to get it and they're going to make a play, and they're not going to let the other team get it. So
yeah, no, awesome answer, man. And we got to get to know the guests real well at a personal level here on the Present Tense. We had a cool conversation about some football and your family, so I'm sure this will be a part of it. But Jake, when did you fall in love with the game of football?
Oh man, I honestly probably since I could walk and since I could talk.
Okay, cool.
There's videos out there that my mom and dad have of me playing catch like in our living room when I was like 2 years old.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, my uncle was sitting on the ground throwing me a ball, and I like caught it, tiptoed the sidelines in our living room. I would like set up like little pillows on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always loved football and loved sports, and it's just kind of been run through our family. They've taught me the way with that. So
And can you tell us about your uncle who works for the Chicago Bears, formerly the Packers?
Yeah, so Uncle Luke, he's a great guy. He's the offensive coordinator for the Bears. Their team record is struggling a little bit this year, but I really like the way their offense is trending. So he's doing a pretty good job. He's always been my role model because he's younger. So my mom has six siblings, and he's the youngest out of all of them. And so when I was growing up, he was in college, so I got to watch him play. He played at Akron, and then I just kind of took after everything he did. I didn't get his height, and he's a lot taller than me, which I wish I got his height. But I just try and do everything else the way that he did it, because he was a great football player, great athlete, and he's a great guy. He's doing well for himself. So.
Yeah, no, dude, that's awesome. And Jake, a couple questions about the present tense that I want to address specifically to the quarterback position tonight. And my first one is, what is your favorite part about playing the quarterback position?
My favorite part? Probably just being in control of the offense.
Yeah, like we talked about before the show. I know you like having that ball in your hands.
Yeah. I really like whenever coach looks out at you and he's like, he's just like, what do you want to run? Like that just feels awesome to me that a guy like Coach Sirianni, who's been here for like 25 years as a head coach, he's like never lost more than 2 or 3 games in a year. Why is he going to look to some 19-year-old kid and be like, what do you want to run?
Uh-huh.
And as a quarterback, that's something that I've kind of built that trust in. I want to continue to build that.
Yeah.
And that's why I love playing quarterback, because you can lean on your teammates. Like I said before, I can lean on my teammates to make plays for me. And I just like being able to know what everyone's supposed to do and help them out. Like, hey, do this, or talk with somebody and be like, hey, I know on this play we're supposed to run this route, but if the defense is doing this, just go the other way and you'll be wide open. And then it's just fun seeing.
Yeah, I know, and I think that's what a lot of people don't understand about college football. Just from being able to talk to some of your guys on the team, like on the defense and offensive side of the ball, it's not like just we're going to call this play and this is how it goes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, and especially, man, listen to AK and Drew talk about it. That's some crazy stuff on the defense.
Oh, yeah. No, the defense is crazy. They got a lot of fun things going on.
Dude, and they're fun to watch, bro.
Yeah,
that defensive lineman, AK, Dietz, Timmons.
They're beasts.
And you got Justin Johns and all the Drew back there, man. His quarterback's got me scared.
I was gonna say, I do a lot of running at quarterback on our team, and I don't know if I'd want to run the ball so much.
Drew,
I
had him on before the season. He's such a nice guy and stuff, but dude, he flies on the field, bro.
Yeah,
when he takes off to go blitz the quick, dude, he's a freight train, man.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. They all are. They're just
defense. Sabo too came on the show. Yeah, it's all a fun group, man.
They're awesome. They do a lot for us. They keep us in a lot of games. They win us a lot of games, and hopefully they keep rolling like that. We're starting to figure the offense out a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely say on offense just from the outside, you guys definitely improved every week, which is all you can ask for, right?
Yeah, that's all you can try and do. We know that the defense is going to be there. Like you said, those guys are awesome. So we know they're going to be there, and we can win low-scoring games if we need to, but obviously you want to score points.
And, Jake, we're going to take it to the flip side of the coin now. What is the most difficult part of playing the quarterback position?
The most difficult part is probably dealing with all the adversity. Like, you don't see it as much like at this level, but like in the NFL, anything that goes wrong, the first person to be blamed is coach and quarterback. Like they're the first people that take it, and all. I mean, that's fair. A lot of the time when things go wrong, quarterback messed up a read, quarterback messed up a protection with the offensive line, maybe missed a throw or something like that. So there's a lot of pressure on you. That's probably the hardest thing, is just mentally keeping yourself in it throughout the game. Like sometimes you just get caught up playing and you're like, oh man, I forgot to do that, I forgot to do this, and it's just there's so much you have to do, but that's the fun part at the same time. Like that's the most challenging, but that's what makes it so fun.
It's like the challenge. It wouldn't be it, man. It's like it just we relate that to life too, and the challenge is what makes it fun.
Yeah, if it's not hard, like if it's not worth working for, then it's no fun to do.
It's cliche, but if it was easy, everyone would do it, right?
Exactly.
I mean, it's in any sport really, but especially in football, there's a reason it's hard to be great. There's a reason there's only one Rodgers, one Brady, one Breeze. You know what I mean? And it's like I feel like people also, you talk about like adversity and adjusting, and I did it. Like the thing is, like I think people forget that like it's not like the defensive coordinators who play Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers like just gave up like when they started getting good. Like people are still trying to figure them out. And I know Tom Brady and them, Aaron Rodgers have fallen off a little bit. Like they're still producing after all these years. Like people are still trying to figure them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's incredible to watch people like that because, like you said, people are trying to figure them out. And the thing about being that great is people want it even more when they play you. Like playing Rodgers and Brady, even if the teams like we were talking about the Carolina Panthers earlier. Carolina Panthers might go 5-12 this year.
They just beat the
Bucs,
man.
They beat Tom Brady, so like that counts as like 5 wins for them. That defense shut them down. So that's another tough thing, and that goes with any sport. You're a good pitcher, teams want to hit you. You're a good basketball player, you score 30 points a game like Steph Curry, they want to shut you down.
For sure.
That's just what what happens with greatness, and it's fun to watch the guy.
Yeah, but it's definitely the challenge. I know, like, and the greats I think too embrace that challenge.
Absolutely, they definitely do.
Man, that's good stuff. And Jake, I want to ask you. You went to Jefferson Hills, or in Thomas Jefferson High School. You're from Jefferson Hills, PA. So why'd you stay close to home and choose W&J? What made you want to come play ball for Coach Sirianni?
I just really fell in love with it when I was here. I talked to a bunch of different coaches, a lot of PAC schools, a lot of schools in Ohio, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. At first, I was determined. I was like, I'm going 3 hours away, at least 3 hours away, and then
at least,
yeah, I was like, I want to go 3 or more. Like, I got to get out of here, and I don't even know why. I was just being a goofball, I guess. But once I came here, I kind of settled in, and I was like, this is a nice small campus. Like, everybody. You get to see the support of all the other teams around you. You get to have fun with a bunch of different people. And while it might be a smaller school, like there's still so much to do, and there's so much around you. And Coach Sirianni, he was awesome from the first day. I loved him. There's a school in Ohio Wesleyan University. I was really down between here and there. Like I was just like, oh, I don't know what to do, and I couldn't help but think like when I came here, I just felt like I was at home. Like and
I get what you mean. It's difficult for people I think at home maybe to understand, but like it's one of those things. Sometimes like for me, dude, I mean, you've been to Oak Island, like I'm down from that region, and it's like why'd you come up? It's like I can't really explain it. You know what I mean? Sometimes I believe like we do have something inside of us. We'll call it a soul, call it a spirit, whatever. We're not gonna get too religious tonight. But like sometimes you get that feeling, man. You gotta go with your gut. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just gotta go to the place your mind's taking you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And the nice thing about it here is being about a half hour away from home. I'm far enough away that like I would never even know like if stuff goes on at home. But it's also nice. Like my parents are close enough; they can come up for any game.
Yeah.
And like if I needed to get home, I could get home real quick. And so it's like I can make it far away by living in my own world of college and not trying to be at home all the time. But it's nice to have it close, and I'm really happy with the decision I made.
Yeah, no, that's interesting because I feel like some people, it depends on how you work it too. Because I do know people from close who don't go home a lot. Then I know people Not to call some people. I know. I don't know how the basketball games go. I remember Jacayla said he takes his laundry home whenever he gets to his mom. Do you do your own laundry?
I do my own.
Okay, thank you. Jeez.
I do my own.
I couldn't believe you said that on air. Really.
every Friday night. That's like my superstition before games.
Okay.
I don't know why. It just keeps my mind off of the game. I guess.
Yeah.
I just do it.
Yeah, it keeps my mind off everything because I'm ready to be done with it. I'm just can't stop thinking about how I did it today, then because I'm flying home tomorrow. But enough about my laundry. Next question for you, Jake, is what is one trait that it takes to be successful in football?
That's a great question.
Well, thank you. I try.
One trait that it takes to be successful in football, I think probably like determination. It could go any way because in the off season you have to be determined to stick with it. There's a lot of points where it's like, what am I doing at 6 a.m. 5 days a week, waking up? Like, I'm not playing for another 8 months. Why am I doing this? But you have to. Like, if you don't do that, you're gonna fall behind. And then when you're in season, you just got to be determined. Every single play at practice, every single play in the game, you have to want it more than the guy lined up across from you. And I think something that I learned playing high school football from my high school coach, he would always tell us, like, if you ever want to win at anything, you have to hate losing more than you like to win.
That's from Michael Jordan.
Yeah. He would tell us that all the time. Yeah. And Michael Jordan's his favorite player. So
okay, yeah, I'm big Michael Jordan. Piper, I don't know if you ever knew Piper Morningstar. That was her quote when she came on the show.
Really?
Yeah, we talk about that one a lot.
That's awesome.
I see it around nowadays. Now, Jake, my next question for you is, if you had to give advice to a freshman who came to you on the first day of football practice and said, Jake, what is the biggest piece of advice you give me for playing under Coach Sirianni? What would you tell them?
I would tell them to show up and work hard and make friends with as many people as you can. To play here, you got to put the work in. We have a lot of talented guys, and I think you have to show up to meetings. You have to show up to film, show that you care. And even as a freshman that doesn't play, like that means so much. Like last year, there's 2 guys ahead of me at the quarterback position, and I went to every film session. I showed that I cared, and it just shows to the coaches that, like, even though you don't quite get as many reps or you don't get in on the games, like, it still matters to you, and it makes you matter to them even more, because obviously they want you here. That's why you're here. They recruited you, but just showing that you're there and showing that you want to get better, and then making friends with people, that just makes it so much easier.
For sure.
Makes it so much easier for you to show up every day. It makes it so much easier for people to talk to you.
And I hate to say it, like, it might sound bad, but I feel like it's also not that hard of a thing, like saying hi to people. Hey, how you doing today?
Absolutely.
Like, say how your sport, like, if it's someone you know this person plays sport, like, hey, how's it going? You know what I mean? Like, just by making those little connections, like, you can get the small school set up to work for you a lot better. It's going to help you out a lot.
No doubt. Like, it's as simple as following, like, WJ Athletics on Twitter and Instagram. Like, if you do that, they post everything. So any game, like, I have a lot of kids on the basketball team in my classes.
Yeah, they started balling out tonight. Yeah. When I left at halftime, they were tied. They're winning by like 20 points right now.
That's awesome. Yeah. But like, I'll see their final score, like, and it's not hard. You don't have to do any extensive research. Like, you see that pop up on your feed. You see them the next day. Hey, nice game last night, man. Saw you had 20 points, something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that goes a long way with building character and helps. And it doesn't seem like it would help you get on the field, but just being able to be social, being able to work with other people. And I think personally that does help you.
Wow. Yeah, good stuff, man. Yeah, no, I think that's a great answer. And my next question for you, Jake, kind of rolling with that theme, is how do you want to be remembered at Washington Jefferson College?
I think I just want to be remembered as somebody that came here and gave 4 years of hard work, gave 4 years of trying my best to just continue the President way, because it seems to be in all sports, WJ's, it sets the standard for the pack. Like baseball, basketball, football, golf, softball, soccer, like we're good at everything. Like there's nothing really here that we're not good at. And I just want to be remembered as somebody that was able to continue that, We haven't won a pack championship in a little while now in football, and that's something I want to do for the next 2 years for sure, and just be somebody that gave it their all. And if we go down 0 for 4 on pack championships in my 4 years, at least I could say I went down trying.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Wow, great answer, man. And my next question for you, Jake, I got to set the scenario for you first in this question. So you are sitting on an empty dorm room bed. The room is completely empty. You see the door open. Kid walks in with a nice suitcase. It's you. It's your freshman year self. What is the biggest piece of advice you give yourself on the first day you walk into college? The you right now to the you back then.
Oh man, that's another great question.
Thank you.
These are tough to answer.
Don't worry, we'll get to some fun stuff in approximately about 10 minutes. So
this is fun. It's all fun. What would I tell my freshman self? I would probably say, relax, take a deep breath. It's gonna get better. Find your crew, find some guys that you can have fun with, and just enjoy the ride. Because walking in as a freshman, it can be intimidating. I can only imagine what it'd be like at a school with 50,000 kids. Coming here with like 1,500 kids and playing a sport. It was kind of like, you walk in and all of a sudden your mom and dad are gone, grandma, grandpa, like whoever raised you, whoever took care of you, they're not here anymore. It's like you're on your own. You got the person that's living 5 feet to your right.
You just met.
Yeah, you just met them. And it's kind of like the whole world's thrown at you all at once. You have no idea what this person likes, what they don't like, and you just got to figure it out. And I think, at first I wasn't really nervous because I'm a pretty social person. I like to talk to people. I don't really typically have issues, talking to new people. But I think you just gotta relax a little bit and just say to my freshman self, it's gonna be all right. Just work it out, let it ride. Things are gonna be tough, but it all works out. And so far in the year, I've enjoyed it so much. I've had so much fun. I'm looking forward to the next 2.5 years.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to seeing you play, man. And my next question for you is, what fuels you?
What fuels me? I think making my parents proud fuels me, definitely. They've done so much for me, helping me out, helping my sisters out. And, a lot of people will say losing will fuel you, but I think just making them proud fuels me because at the end of the day, if you lose a football game, life goes on, but I don't know, just the thought of letting my parents down, that just doesn't sit right inside of me, and just always doing everything I can to make them proud. I think that fuels me to be a better person every day in every aspect of life.
Wow, that's, would you say your parents are most responsible for your journey here? They're the biggest part of that journey, would you say?
I'd say, my parents, grandparents, but probably me and my parents.
I got you, man. And I do want to ask you about one moment before we do get into a little bit of some lighter questions here. There's a moment versus Grove City when you kind of go down in a weird way, you get hit, your back bends back, and the game had been kind of stagnant on offense, but you came back in after that. I don't know if you remember the moment I'm talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
And you came back in. You just seemed completely different as a player. Maybe that's completely wrong, but it seemed like you were just so locked in. The offense was so locked in after that. Can you talk about that moment a little bit? Because just personally, that's something I saw. You just seemed like you had a new look in your eyes after you. It's kind of a little bit of a dirty hit. I'm not going to say anything, but you know what I mean? You came back up there with some new spark, man.
I think going before that, we were that was the second drive of the game. So the first drive of the game, we missed the field goal, it got blocked. Field goal got blocked. We drive down the field, have a great drive. I made a bad read on third down, threw it to the wrong guy. Field goal gets blocked, and it was kind of we went right down the field. How did we not get points out of that? It comes out second drive, get a couple plays, get the ball moving. I pull it, I go around the edge, and 1 second I thought I was just going down to the ground. Another second I see some dude light me up, and it just everything went out, and I was like, what's going on? It was a weird moment where you get hit and you just freeze. I try to get up, everything froze up, and then after that I didn't know for that 15, 20 seconds I'm laying there. I had no idea if I'm gonna be all right or not. I hop up, doc checks me out. He's like, yeah, you're good. And I was like, all right, well, it's nothing. We got a football game to win. Forget all about that. And I just tried to tune it out. And honestly, it just made me mad. I was like, this dude's just taking a cheap shot on me. Let's go put up some points on him. And I went over to JP, John Paduzzi's receiver number 15. I went over to him, and I looked at him, and I gave him a little tap on the leg. I was like, let's have some fun, buddy. I was like, let's have some fun. Because when me and him have fun, I think we're pretty hard to stop. So I said, let's go have some fun. I was like, I don't really like these guys that much. I was like, I know you don't know much about them, but I was like, let's go have some fun.
Yeah, I don't think no one here likes Grove City.
Yeah, and then very next play, very next series, I throw a 30-yard touchdown. He jumps over some dude, makes a play.
Yeah, dude, that was sick. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. So.
Dude, that's awesome. And what's your major and minor here at WJ?
Business administration.
Okay. What do you want to do
major. With that? Honestly, I hope that doesn't come into play at all. I hope I'm coaching football. That's my goal. But
I figured.
if I'm not coaching football, I'd love to do anything in the business world.
Cool.
Just anything with money, handling money. I'm gonna do a comm arts minor.
Dope. Wait, we're excited to have you.
Yeah, better well-round myself with being able to public.
Nah, comm, man, they're taking some flack on the show. I'm not gonna lie. The comm department, I'm philosophy comm, and like, I just think it's a big thing being able to communicate effectively with people, man.
And
underrated skill.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if I ever want to be successful being a coach, you got to be able to talk to people.
Yeah.
So I'm just taking a couple classes, learning how to do it, learning what goes into it. I think it'll help me.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm glad you're doing that. And my next question for you is, if you had to listen to one musical artist for the rest of your life, who would that artist be?
Oh, that's tough. I think if you asked me that question 2 years ago, I'd say Zach Brown Band, no doubt.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
So you're a big country guy.
Big country guy. Between Morgan Wallen and Luke Combs right now.
You gotta go Morgan. I don't know, Luke. I think doesn't Luke Combs have more music in his disc choreography though?
Yeah, I think so. They're so talented. I enjoy them both. I'd probably go with my heart and just stick to Zach Brown. Zach Brown
is it's classic.
Zach Brown Band, because I couldn't choose between Morgan Wallen and Luke Combs. I love country music, so.
You're a big country music guy. It's probably the genre I know least about, although I am a DJ here, so I do have those hours sometimes. But I mean, I've been to Nashville before. I respect I think I'm more in a classic country. I do like Morgan Wallen. I do like Luke Combs, but some like the bro country. I'm not too much into that as much. But I'd say out of the people you listen, I do like Morgan Wallen though for sure.
Some other guys.
What's your favorite Morgan Wallen song?
Favorite Morgan Wallen song? It's probably Cover Me Up. It's a slower song.
Connor McAllister played a cover of that on here.
Really?
Yeah, dope. Yeah, it was dope, man. And yeah, that is a good one. Definitely. Yeah. That's actually a cover in itself of a Jason Isbell song, I believe.
He does a good job with it, and if you ever watch the music video, it's pretty intense. It's pretty
really? I haven't seen it. Maybe I'll watch it sometime when I'm feeling happy, down. Don't watch it when you're.
I don't know.
I'll check it out. I haven't heard about it
before.
Yeah,
it's good.
All right, cool. And my next question for you is, if you had a free Saturday with no plans, no commitments, and money wasn't a problem, what would you do with the day?
What would I do? I would probably, just for a Saturday.
Coach Sarianni said he'd go to Notre Dame and watch a football game.
See, why would you go to Notre Dame? I mean, that's so typical to go to Notre Dame.
That's what Scott McGinnis answered that too. I guess it's like a college football fan. Yeah. It's like you got to do that.
I don't know. I don't like Notre Dame, so maybe I'm just biased.
Who's your team?
In football?
College football. Oh, it's UNC, isn't it? Oh my gosh.
Well, UNC basketball.
Dude, UNC is in the top 15 in football somehow. Worst one-loss team in the country, honestly. But I should have lost to Duke.
Yeah, I don't follow their football as much, but I really love UNC basketball. College football, I like watching great games. Honestly, this year, Tennessee, they're fun to watch. They are.
Yeah, I mean, I had a feeling they were going to get smacked by Georgia. Because honestly, I feel like they got lucky against Alabama. I'm not going to lie. They didn't cause some breaks.
They did.
But I don't think Alabama will make the playoff now.
No, I think they're done. But going back to what you said about Saturday free, there's some cool places I'd want to visit, but man, that's tough. I don't know. I think I would, if I could work a way into it, I think I'd probably go see if I could hang out with Michael Jordan for the day. Go play one-on-one with him.
Dude, that's dope. That's a great answer. No one's ever said that.
I mean, if I have all, money's not an issue. If I have enough money, I'd be like, hey, listen, I'll give you $1 million. Just hang out with me today.
Yeah, that's dope. You probably put a wager on that game.
Yeah.
Did you watch The Last Dance?
I did. I watched it like 4 times.
I've watched it 3 times. It's always me and my Nana's tradition. We'll watch the last scene from The Last Dance, the last episode. And I don't know if you know this, but the song that plays at the end of the documentary is the present tense by Pearl Jam. That's actually where the name of this radio show comes from.
Really?
Yes.
I see. I would have never even known that, but I mean that is a good song.
I don't know why it clicked in that moment. And I love telling the story. I was like, I went back to my dorm room and I was just watching the last episode, and it was like showing all the highlights. He's like, it makes much more sense. The Eddie Vedder lyric goes, it makes much more sense to live the present. I don't know why. I heard it, and I was like, what is that song? And I looked it up. I was like, the present. And I was like, all right, you know what? Let's do it. Like,
that's
and
awesome.
Now, dude, I got a tattoo on me, bro. That's present tense in Latin right there in the song.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
No,
Dude,
awesome.
I love The Last Dance. And speaking of film and movies, what's your favorite film of all time and why?
See, I'm not a huge movie guy, honestly, which is...
I do it for recommendations. Really, I don't really care if the viewer hears. I just like to hear about different movies. But you can say your show. You can say your favorite show.
No, I'll say movie.
Okay.
I don't know, my friends always make fun of me because they're like, you ever watch this movie? I'm like, no, never. Like, every movie...
No, I don't like people like that. They're like, how have you never seen that? Like,
well, it's totally normal because they'll name like popular movies. I'm like, yeah, I've heard of it. I've never watched it. But my favorite movie... I don't know, Step Brothers is a great one.
Classic,
absolutely.
I don't know if it's the best one for. I think Talladega Nights is better.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Anchorman.
See, I've never watched Anchorman. That's like one you'd be disappointed in me for.
I am.
Yeah. There's movies like that. Like it took until like 2 years ago that I watched Happy Gilmore for the first time.
Jeez, man.
So I don't know. I'd say probably Step Brothers is a good one.
That's solid.
Yeah, I can't think of any other off the top of my head.
I got you. Now, Jay, I want to get to some NFL talk a little bit because we had a big week in the National Football League
For sure.
this weekend. And listen, we had the Buffalo Bills play the Minnesota Vikings in what might have been the craziest football game of all time. And I got to ask you, is the Justin Jefferson catch on 4th and 18, was that the greatest catch of all time? Is that better than Odell? Is that better than the, I'm blanking on his name now, who caught the ball for the Giants and put it on his head?
David Tyree.
And is that better than that catch? Is the Justin Jefferson 4th and 18, one hand over the head with the defender, is that the greatest catch of all time?
Man, I've always been a helmet catch guy because they beat the Patriots, and I didn't like the Patriots, but I know you're a Tom Brady guy.
I wasn't as much when he was in New England,
Okay.
But I do love the Bucs stuff.
Yeah. I don't know, the helmet catch, that's just because of the situation. And, catching
But 4th and 18.
4th and 18.
I guess it's in the Super Bowl, though, but
this is a huge game, though. I mean, that was huge.
That's a big game.
I think, I'm going to say no, it's not the greatest catch.
Oh, I got to disagree with you, bro. I think it's the greatest catch of all time.
Because the one thing that I pointed out was, and it's been on SportsCenter all week, when he came down to the ground, his arm rested on the other dude's leg. And I think if he doesn't land on that dude's leg, I don't know if that ball stays in his hand. Now, it also could be the greatest catch of all time because of that fact. Like, it could be...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He was so
craziness
impressive because his arm landed on his leg and he still held on to it. But I think that might have supported it. I don't know. They're so great. And then the OBJ one, like 3 fingers.
Yeah.
And he just stops it out of midair.
It's insane, dude.
I mean, that ball was in the air for 70 yards. He just stopped it out of midair with 3 fingers.
Like, I think you just go to an NFL game, like, see the guys, like, it's just like pro sport. Like, the top, like, you go to an MLB game, you like the smallest guys, like Jack, dude. Like,
yeah, it's just, it's
that,
like they're not even human. They're just different.
Yeah, it's crazy. NBA, same thing, man. It's crazy. Now, should we take the Vikings seriously? Should we take Kirk Cousins seriously now?
Because the Vikings seriously, yes. Kirk Cousins seriously, no. Kirk Cousins, if they would have played the Bills prime time at 8:20 Sunday Night Football, he would have lost. Kirk Cousins
at 1 p.m. is an all-time legend.
Kirk Cousins at 1 p.m. might be a Hall of Famer. No, I'm just kidding. But
I mean, he is. He's not good in prime time.
Yeah, he's just. I think the Vikings have a good roster, and as a Bears fan, it's tough to say because they should have lost that game to the Bears, but the receiver fumbled running across the middle at the end of the game. But I mean, I don't. They just beat the Bills. Their only loss to the Eagles, which is the number 1 team in the NFC right now. So I think you have to.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins has completely turned into a meme, bro.
Yeah, he has. But he's doing a great job.
No, he's
not turning the ball over.
No,
you have those guys around you. Get down
with the chains. Have you seen that on the plane?
Yeah, I've seen him.
Legend, bro. It's funny. And, like, do we need to be worried about the Bills? Lost to the Jets.
No, I don't think so.
I will say Josh Allen took responsibility with QBs. At first, he was like, this is on me.
Mm-hmm.
He said that. He wasn't on, like, this is on us. He said, this is on me.
Yeah, he said that 2 weeks in a row now, so I think it's time for him to, it's great that he says that, but I think it's time to fix it. If he's going to be a great quarterback, and I think he will, because he's really talented. But, like, I watched his interviews is now the second week in a row. He's like, I gotta play better. It's on me. We lost. It's on me.
So you saying he got to prove it at this
It's
point?
like, all right, well, we'll go out there and do it.
All right.
As a quarterback, that's kind of hypocritical for me to say because it's like I know firsthand that it's a lot harder to just go out there and do it. But I think he's so talented. I think he'll figure it out. And they're one of those teams, like they're not first place right now, but by the end of the year, you know, the Dolphins are hot. And the Dolphins are
Yeah,
good.
we're definitely gonna get to the Dolphins,
Yeah.
bro. And
But
go ahead.
if you like, say you're a team that sneaks into the AFC playoffs, like the Tennessee Titans or the Bengals, like you don't want to go to Buffalo, and if Buffalo's coming to you,
Cold, the fans are crazy.
you definitely don't want to go to Buffalo. And if Buffalo's coming to you, they're gonna be mad that you're not going there, and they're gonna be hungry. They're not a team you want to see in the
No,
playoffs,
for
so.
sure. Now I gotta ask you, as a quarterback, is that on Josh Allen? Or is that on the center of the exchange on the 1 yard line with the the 1st and 10
Yeah, no.
on the 1 yard line? They fumble the ball.
That's absolutely on Josh Allen. If you watch the replay, the center has to be quick because obviously those guys are coming fast.
They had to get it like 1 yard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are coming fast right at that center's legs. So he's got to get the ball up. But he did. It just went right between his hands. You got to keep your hands. I mean, that's stuff you learn when you're 6 years old playing for quarterback the first time. When you take a snap, you keep your hands together and you don't you just kind of go like this with your hands underneath the center, and you do not separate your hands because when you separate your hands like this, and that ball goes right through.
It's like he was too worried about trying to get forward.
Yeah, he's just thinking ahead.
Well, even if they would have took the safety, they still would have been up. Yeah, that's like some people should have took the safety intentionally. You kick it back with about 1 minute left, then score a tutty with 1 timeout in a minute.
Yeah.
But then hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah, obviously.
And then if they do that and lose, there's gonna be like, oh, why didn't you just run it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just think in that situation, that's something you learn to do when you're a little kid. Just catch.
I mean, and he did lead the team back down, and they did get a field goal instead of overtime.
Absolutely, because he's a great talent. He's gonna be fun to watch.
He's had multiple picks a couple weeks in a row though, and
he's
39 seasons on the year.
Yeah, he's leading the league in interceptions right now, which is crazy because you wouldn't think that.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that. I mean, they do have a great team, but
they do.
We'll see. I mean, the addition of Von Miller on the defense, you know what I mean? It's big time. The next thing I want to get to, though, is the Bucs, my team. They beat the Seahawks. Tom Brady, 75% completion center percentage. He's back up after being real low a couple weeks earlier. Leonard Fournette had a great game. Julio Jones had a nice tutty. They used a lot more tight ends and blocking. They had to get Tom Brady some more time. So are we counting the Bucs out, or do you think these last couple wins against the Rams and the Seahawks put them back in contention for the Super Bowl?
Ooh, well, Super Bowl, I'm not going to say quite yet. They're going to make the playoffs.
Their division is terrible.
I know. And here's the thing. I was watching Get Up this morning. If Tom Brady makes the playoffs, right now, division leaders and teams that are in the playoffs, the Seahawks are division leaders. So he's got to go either play Geno Smith, who is, I don't know if he's ever started a playoff game. I definitely don't think he's ever won a playoff game. Another division leader, Kirk Cousins, like we just talked about. Jalen Hurts. The Eagles are really good. So are the Vikings, but the Eagles are really good. But Jalen Hurts never won a playoff game.
Right.
And then he's going to win his division, so he's playing at home. The teams that would come to him, the Giants, Daniel Jones, like the Packers aren't in the playoffs right now. The Rams aren't in the playoffs right now.
Yeah.
Like there's, if the Niners make it, you got Jimmy Garoppolo. He's gonna have. It's just unbelievable to think about. Especially as someone that's not a Tom Brady fan, it's like, come on now, he's gonna get away with this again. He's gonna make the playoffs and then have to play those guys.
I mean, we'll see. You know what I mean?
And if Tom Brady's in the playoffs, you just can't count him out.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they make a trade. You know what I mean? We'll see. Maybe they pick up someone. And, do you think they would sign Odell?
I don't think they would because. Well, I mean, it depends. If Godwin and Evans stay healthy,
yeah, I don't really know if they need.
I don't think
they need. I think Scotty Miller, if he played better, they need a slot back.
Yeah.
And Leonard Fournette's good out of the backfield, running and catching short passes, but they need he had James White in New England, those quick dump downs for him and the quick slant routes to the slot backs really helped Tom Brady out.
Yeah, I think
Julio Jones being back did help out.
Exactly. And Julio's there.
His speed is elite.
But when they had AB. He connected with AB a lot, but it wasn't it's just not the same. These guys later in their career. I don't know where.
I think that was a big loss for them though. When AB, I don't know what he's doing now, man. But
who knows?
Yeah, but I mean, I actually saw his last full game when they played. And, he was back that game after the suspension. I forgot what he was suspended for at that time, but maybe I think it was the fake COVID thing. But I mean, AB was like a great route runner. Like he's a generational talent. You know what I mean? Like, and he had like 80 yards, like 4 catches, 80 yards. It was crazy.
I just think they're so loaded at the wide receiver position. I just think.
Yeah. So you said you can't count them out yet from making something.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
I think. Well, I mean that division, man. Wow. I think they'll definitely make the playoffs. I think they'll either be the 3 or the 4 seed, and then that means there's only 2 teams that they have to go on the road for.
Right.
You know. And
is that the worst division in football, or do you think it's the AFC North or the AFC South, maybe? AFC South, maybe.
I mean, the AFC North isn't that great right now because the Ravens and the Bengals are struggling, and the Steelers and Browns are down this year. But
probably AFC. I would say AFC South.
AFC South is bad. That NFC South is so bad, though. I mean, that's horrible.
The Panthers are selling. I mean, they sold everything.
Yeah, you got the Panthers and the
I
Falcons.
mean, Marcus Mariota actually is having a decent year.
He is, but I think that last game versus Carolina kind of just.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then the Saints, I still don't know who their quarterback is. Like, they play Taysom Hill, Andy Dalton, James Winston.
Yeah.
Like, they're all over the place, so I don't know.
Okay.
But that AFC South is bad.
Yeah, they are. It's tough, man. Now, I do want to talk about a good team in the AFC, and this is the Dolphins.
Yep.
So Tua, since he got hurt, so they're 7-0 in games that Tua plays the whole time. 4-0 since Tua got knocked out. He's got 10 TDs, 308 passing yards per game. This man's on fire. They got 2 of the best receivers in the league. They got Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Gesicki's been playing good as well. Are the Dolphins, is this legit? Are they Super Bowl contenders with Tua in the lineup?
Man, it pains me to say yes because I didn't think Tua would ever be good. But, yes.
So many people are sleeping on him. I don't know why.
They have to be Super Bowl contenders. I mean, there's no way you can cover Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. And even if you find out a way to cover them, Gesicki, like you said, he's making plays. They got running backs. I mean, they just got Jeff Wilson. And they have Mostert there. It's impressive to watch. They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
You know, as a football fan, somebody that likes, as a quarterback likes to see the ball thrown. I mean, I don't know the last time that 2 receivers on the same team were number 1 and 3 in receiving yards on the year. Like, Waddle and Tyreek Hill are killing it.
Yeah.
And it's just so impressive to watch.
Crazy, man. Now, what we do on the present tense when we talk NFL is we always do our top 5 power rankings. So I'm going to read out the ESPN one first, and then I'll read mine, and then Jake, you'll give us your top 5 NFL teams after week 11. So ESPN's top 5 is the Chiefs at number 1 at 7-2, the Eagles at number 2 at 8-1, the Vikings at 3 at 8-1, the Dolphins at 4 at 7-3, the Bills at 5 at 6-3. So here's Sam Stew's top 5 for week 11. I'm going to keep the Eagles at number 1.
Okay.
There was a close game against the Commanders, and the face mask call was missed.
Absolutely.
There was interesting roughing the passer at the end. You know, the guy fell down, but like that's a couple plays. And like honestly, every game in the NFL comes down to just a couple plays, unless it's a blowout. Most games in the NFL are pretty close. But I'm gonna keep the Eagles at number 1. And like you can't like the thing is with the Dolphins, like people are talking about strength of schedule. Eagles, like are we gonna punish teams for their strength of schedule? Like this isn't college. Like they're all pros.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they don't choose it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like college where they choose it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep the Eagles at 1. I'm gonna put my boy Kirk Cousins and the Vikings at number 2. We'll bump them up.
Wow.
I think they're more legit than people say. The Chiefs have had some good wins, but they've squeaked out some wins.
No doubt.
And it's like, they have Kelsey, but, I do have questions if they run up against the Bills in the playoffs. And I think overall, I don't know. I think the Vikings are a better team at this point. I got the Dolphins at 3, just because the receiving core we talked about. I've been big on Tua. I thought he was definitely slept on too much coming out of college. I mean, I feel like you're not alone in the fact that you didn't think he was going to be great. But, I mean, the new coach they have down there, Brian Flores didn't work out, but, the new coaching staff, it's been real good for Tua. If he's out there healthy, I think they're the 3rd best team in the league. I got the Chiefs at number 4. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, I always say, is the Michael Jordan of football. Some of the new things he's done, the iconic moments. They had a good win against not a great Jags team, but they've done it this year. They beat the teams they needed to. I'm going to keep them at number 4. And at number 5, it's tough because there's not a lot of great options here, but I'm going to go with the Bills just because of what they showed in their roster. So that's my top 5 for this week. Jake, I'm going to turn it over to you.
So that's interesting. Chiefs at 4, just because I think you're probably the only person that's putting them down there. Everybody else is all over the Chiefs right now.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like they've won the games they've needed to win, obviously, but like
I mean, no, you make a great point.
They are 7. I mean, they are 7-2, and record has to mean something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Like you said, they snuck out a couple games. They barely beat the Titans. They beat the Jaguars by 10. But I mean, both of those teams are battling.
Yeah.
This year. So my top 5. Number one, I'm gonna go with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow. Okay.
There's just no.
Or the Vikings and the Dolphins.
Yeah, there's just no way that if you put it in a playoff game scenario, there's just no way I'm not picking Mahomes and Kelsey.
But it's not it's the top 5 after this week.
Yeah,
and it's tough because like I want to put the Chiefs higher, but like it's tough because like I have to look at the other teams' records. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I get what you're saying. I'm gonna go Chiefs 1. I'm gonna go Dolphins 2, Vikings 3, Bills 4. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh no, yeah. I missed the Eagles.
Okay, so you're gonna put Eagles at 4.
Yeah.
After what?
I'm gonna put Eagles at 4.
See, I guess I would disagree with you there with the Chiefs because like I think the Eagles have been so consistent. You know what I mean? And like won such commanding game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they. You want to talk about tough divisions, like, you know.
Record-wise, that division's tough, but I think by the end of the year, they'll be back where they've always been.
Really?
Yeah, the Giants are pretenders. The Cowboys are pretenders.
What?
Yeah.
Bro, really?
That's a hot take, bro.
That is a hot take. I'm a big Danny Dimes guy. I went to my school, Duke.
Yeah.
And that's probably makes you like him even less, but.
No, I mean, I like Danny Dimes. He can move. He's fun to watch.
He's fast, yeah. I mean, my dad were sitting there at the year they beat you. I mean, they had a great year the year he was a senior at Duke, and he was moving, man. I think he had put over 100 rushing yards at UNC. Like, they got Saquon, you know what I mean? When Saquon's in, it's a good squad.
He's doing well right now.
I like their head coach. I'm blanking on his name right now. But
Brian Dable, I think, is there.
Yeah, dude, he gets the team fired up, you know. Cowboys. It's funny because it's the Cowboys. They took a loss this weekend, the Packers.
I think they're pretenders. I don't think Dak Prescott will ever win a big game.
Wow. You said put in Cooper Rush?
I mean, look at
Dak played rough, dude.
Look at the records. Cooper Rush is what, 4-1 in the year?
Yeah.
And Dak's 2-3.
Yeah, I gotta consult Leon on this one. I don't know if you know, he's a big Cowboys guy.
Yeah. So I'd probably go Chiefs 1, Dolphins 2, Vikings 3, Eagles 4. And the easy answer is Bills 5, but just to make Garrett Hinsdale mad because he's a huge Bills fan.
Oh, dude, I see him. I don't even know the kid really, but I see him wearing Bills stuff like 24/7.
Garrett's awesome. I love Garrett. And he is the biggest fan of a sports team I've ever met in my life.
But that's like every Bills fan, bro.
I gotta give him credit for it. He supports the Bills more than I've ever seen anybody support a team in my life. But just to make him mad, I'm gonna say San Francisco 49ers at 5.
They have a talented squad.
Because from day one, I said they're my Super Bowl team in the NFC. And I've argued with Coach Sirianni every day because he says they stink and he says there's no way the Eagles.
ESPN has them at 5-4 right now.
Yeah, the record, like everybody on earth would argue, and I think, but Kyle Shanahan, I love his offense. He's a mastermind. Okay. And if you I mean, I know you're not a huge football guy, but if you study into it at all, the way that he sets up plays, he's just a mastermind. And then they go and add Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. So
now they have Deebo Samuel, who is the best running back or best receiver that plays running back. Like he's the best.
Yeah.
You know, he does both. Like, and then Christian McCaffrey, who's the best running back that plays receiver. So like they have those guys that can play either spot, and then they still have George Kittle, and then they have Kyle Juszczyk at fullback.
Yeah. And
then they have a bunch of other guys at receiver like Brandon.
All right, I think that's the interesting thing with the top 5 is like you forego the record for the squad.
Yeah. I mean,
that's not the way you explain it. I'll give you a pass.
Because one of the Bills 6-3.
Yeah.
So they're 1 game ahead of them.
Right, but the Bills look so good at times.
I know.
No, that's fair, and it's like the 5th team too.
Yeah.
I mean, I would usually ask you for a Super Bowl prediction, but I feel like I can't even give you one. I can't give you one at this point. It's so all over the place right now.
If I had to get one, I'm sticking with my Niners, and I'm saying the Dolphins will lose. I'm gonna say Niners Chiefs.
Oh wow. Okay.
I'm
going Eagles Bills. I'm going Coach Mountain versus Coach Sirianni.
That would be fun.
Be fun in the athletic hallway. We've talked about that before, but all right, dude. And one question I want to ask you before we get the trivia and quote of the day. We're going to get through. We're just going to roll all the way through tonight so we can head to break at the top of the hour and get Tyee Mcmaster in here. I've been trying to throw a lot more football for my baseball arm path. Just clean up my arm path a little bit, work on my front arm as well, because I know you got to stay in football. You can't really get all like out here.
Yeah.
I have a problem throwing my glove up sometimes. So how do I work on my spiral when I'm throwing a football? Sometimes I get a little wobbly with the ball. Like, what's the keys there for young quarterbacks, people who aren't great at throwing football?
Yeah. So my style is I put just my ring finger on the end lace
So at the top.
Yeah, so at the very top. And
Oh, wow.
When you
Okay.
hold the ball, if you look through like at your hand, there you should be able to see a little like glimmer of light through. Like you don't want your palm gripped up tight against the ball.
Okay.
That you like grip it too hard. So you want like a little bit of space, and then you gotta have some pressure with your index finger. And when you throw, like your ring and your index finger should be the last ones to leave the ball. And it's so hard to sit there and look at your hand and like really think about doing. It's just something that's came naturally to me. But I always try and keep that gap because that gives you you obviously need a good grip.
Okay, I've never heard the gap before. Okay.
But it obviously gives you a good grip of the ball, but it also keeps you loose because it's like shooting a basketball or throwing a baseball. It's like you're like all gripped up and tight, like you can't be athletic.
Okay.
So. Yeah.
Gotcha. I'll keep that in mind for sure. And of course, we got to do our trivia segment tonight. So hopefully you're our winner. How we do it is I ask you a question. We got about a 35-second break here on the air.
Okay.
And we will come back and get your answer. So, your question for tonight, Jake, let's see if you can be a winner. What quarterback has the most all-time rushing TDs? Is it A, Michael Vick, B, Cam Newton, C, Steve Young, or D, Kyler Murray? We'll get your answer after the break. This is the present tense with Sam Stewart, 91.7 FM, WNJR Washington, and online at WNJR.org. You think you know who it is?
I think I do.
It surprised me a little bit, actually.
I know it's not Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I think that one didn't.
I don't think it's Cam Newton. I know Steve Young's. I want to say Steve Young. Everything wants you to say Michael Vick, but I think I was going to go Steve Young. He's had a lot, but then I don't know.
We are back on the present tense with Sam Stewart on 91.7 FM on WNJR Washington and online at WNJR.org. Today we're talking with WNJ quarterback Jake Pugh. And before the break, we asked Jake his trivia question for the night. What quarterback has the most all-time rushing touchdowns? Is it A, Michael Vick, B, Cam Newton, C, Steve Young, or D, Kyler Murray? And Jake, your answer tonight is?
Everybody wants to go Michael Vick, or not everybody. All of me wants to say Michael Vick, but I'm going to go with Steve Young.
Ooh, I'm sorry. That is actually incorrect.
Oh, man.
I'll read you the list. Number 1, Cam Newton.
Really?
Number 2, Steve Young. Number 3, Jack Kemp. Number 4, Steve McMahon.
I knew Steve Young was up there.
He's up there.
I can't believe Cam Newton is number 1. Honestly, I didn't know he played long enough to.
Yeah, I mean, bro, those seasons he had.
Yeah, he was crazy.
Yeah, he was. Now rushing yards. Mike Vick number 1, Cam Newton 2, Randall Cunningham 3, Russell Wilson 4, Steve Young 5.
I knew Steve Young didn't have as many yards. I mean,
hey, that was a good guess. That was a good guess.
I mean, he's number 2, so I guess I give you that.
But thank you for playing our trivia segment tonight.
Absolutely.
A for effort. And Jake, it's time for our final segment of the show. It's time for the quote of the day, and I got one for us too. So go ahead and take us home, Jake.
All right. So my quote of the day comes from your favorite, my favorite, Michael Jordan.
Yes, sir.
And it says, "If it turns out that my best wasn't good enough, at least I won't look back and say I was afraid to try."
Wow. That's good stuff, man. And one person I always think of, I don't know if are you familiar with the Stoicism school of philosophy?
I'm not, no.
So in Stoicism, it's basically you can control what you can control. And like, I am not an expert on it, but I would definitely look it up. I think you'd be really interested. Michael Jordan, a lot of these people, the mob mentality is very similar to Stoicism.
Absolutely.
And this guy, Ryan Holiday, he wrote a book on Marcus Aurelius, who kind of invented Stoicism. Wasn't the inventor. Once again, I'm sure the philosopher out there are going to roast me for that. But like, he was a big proponent of it. He wrote his journal about it. So one quote that Marcus Aurelius wrote, I really wanted to read tonight. I started a book by Ryan Holiday. It's a great quote. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way.
Wow. Stands in the way becomes the way. That's awesome.
Dude, you know what's been awesome? This show tonight, I've had a lot of fun. Jake, thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you check out Jake and the Presidents as they take on, I'm blanking on the name of the school now. I need to pull it up. Okay. As they take on Hobart from New York in the Offset S. Bushnell Bowl. What time is that? I gotta pull it up real quick. Make sure
It's at noon.
it is at noon. Right, that's correct.
We'll change up.
Yeah, because I want to say 1 because I always just said 1, but I knew it's a little different with the bowl game. Make sure you check it out. It's gonna be cold, y'all. So y'all gotta bundle up for sure. Jake, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight, and good luck to you Saturday and the rest of your career here at W&J.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on. I had a lot of fun here.
Dude, I had fun too. I have a feeling you'll be back at some point.
Sounds good. I look forward to it.
All right, brother. And we will be back with another great guest coming up for the next 30 minutes of our show. Tyee Mcmaster from the tennis team. We're going to talk some about podcasts, some about his life as a tennis player here at W&J as well. But we'll be right back. I've got some spin doctors for you right now. This is the present tense with Sam Stewart on 91.7 FM, W&J Washington, and online at WNJR.org. We are back on the present tense with Sam Stewart, 91.7 FM on WNJ Washington and online at WNJR.org. My next guest on the show tonight is a junior tennis player from Waynesburg, PA. Everyone welcome on the show tonight. Tennis player, Tyee Mcmaster. Tyee, how you doing tonight?
Good, how are you?
Dude, I am doing great. I'm excited to have you here. And, one thing right off the bat, let's just go ahead and dive into it, is you're a big fan of podcasts and radio yourself.
Yeah.
What's some of your favorite podcasts to listen to? I know we just talked before the show. I had a Ryan Holiday / Marcus Aurelius quote for the show. I know you like learning about stoicism, but what are some other interests you're like listening to in podcasts, different areas?
Areas mostly sports, politics, religion. I just started listening to the religious podcast since I just recently converted.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, other than that, just philosophy, politics, and sports.
And you're a big Jordan Peterson fan, right?
Yeah.
Have you read his book, 12 Rules for Life?
That's one of the rules. Is my quote of the day. So.
Really? Okay, I look forward to that. I wonder which one it is. I think my favorite would have to be treat like yourself like someone you're responsible for.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think they're all good ones.
Yeah, I haven't read Beyond Order.
I have not either. Yeah, but one of the rules specifically really changed how I live my life.
You gotta save the quote of the day.
Yeah,
yeah, I really like his work, and I think all those conversations. The cool part of the podcast, and I wanted to have you on here tonight just to talk about. I know you're into this kind of stuff. Is like long form communication. It's not going by the wayside, and I think podcast is such an alternative method where people can get their news, like CNN, Fox, whatever. If you're into that kind of thing, like you get 5 minutes to talk to a person, and like I've heard like guys like Jordan Peterson, Shapiro, Brett Weinstein, like some of these guys, like they talk about like they have this great conversation with the host before, but then like when they get on the air, like the host is trying to force it because it's 5 minutes. But with the podcast, like we can go all day if we wanted to. You know what I mean? Like, are you a fan of the Joe Rogan Experience?
Yeah, I don't watch him often, but I like his podcast, and I really love the format. I think with podcasts, you don't really get into like the good meat of the conversation until after the first hour. And so,
I agree. I mean,
you said with TV, it's just it's not as fruitful.
Yeah, the one thing I don't like about Joe sometimes is just sometimes like it takes them a long time to get in the meat of it. You know what I mean? But he's really good at like for me, I would say my personal rule is I like to get to the meat of a conversation, if we want to call it that, 15 to 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I know like we knew each other so we could dive in a little bit. If I don't know someone, like you gotta get them to open up a little bit. And that's a whole I love to talk about behind the scenes part of it, but yeah, I do like that. And I know you like reading and stuff. Have you read The Obstacle Away by Ryan Holiday?
I've not read anything by Ryan Holiday, but I've watched some of his YouTube videos, and I think
The Daily Stoic.
Yeah, I think he has a lot of good stuff to say there.
Yeah, I think Stoicism. Have you read Meditations?
I've read excerpts from.
Yeah, I mean, certain parts of it are just kind of like him, like because it's his journal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically him like scribbling.
Yeah.
Kind of notes like anyone would do in a journal.
Yeah.
Like it's like if my journal got published into a world famous book,
Yeah.
like, he didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like I mean, the idea of controlling what you can control, of not getting your self-worth from anyone else, like the idea of dealing with death, like stoicism, like in sports. I mean, look at some examples. We just talked. Me and Jake just talked about Michael Jordan, Kobe.
Yeah. Like
the idea of stoicism in sports is really important. I know a lot of people have, even sports figures have had Ryan Holiday come in and speak. I know the Seahawks had him, the Miami Heat, and like the idea of stoicism, controlling what you control, is very important. You know what you said.
Yeah. No, I don't know that I had much to add there.
Okay.
I think it's interesting. Didn't Marcus Aurelius write in a language other than his native tongue?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe he wrote in.
He wrote in Greek.
I believe he wrote well, obviously, like as a Roman emperor, the last of what they called, for those who aren't too familiar with Roman history, the last of the 5 good emperors. Because after Marcus Aurelius, and actually, if you've seen the movie Gladiator,
Yeah.
it's Yeah, they took some liberties. They took some liberties, but the idea that Marcus Aurelius was like opposed by his son, and then his son was actually ended up being like crazy, is actually true. Have you seen that movie?
No, I've not seen the movie, but I've seen Ryan Holiday's discussion and analysis of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they get the general idea, and like the main character Maximus, for those who haven't seen, I won't spoil it. Like he embodies a lot of Stoic ideas, and he's a slave, but he becomes this like great hero to all these people. No, it's really interesting. Yeah, thanks for that conversation, and we'll get into it right now. And I know I'm really just to talk about your journey as a person. And as an athlete as well, but when did you fall in love with the game of tennis, Tyee?
Well, it's funny. I didn't play tennis prior to W&J.
Right, I know you're a big football player.
Yeah, I mostly I'd hit around at a tennis court just as much as anyone else, just messing around here and there. But I didn't learn the game. I didn't know the rules until college. But 2 weeks before my freshman year here, I got a call from the coach of the tennis team. It was her first year as coach, Megan Foster, and I got a call from her asking me if I was ready for the first week of practice. And I tried to explain to her like, oh, I think you have the wrong guy. I don't play a sport here. And she explained she was the tennis coach, and she's like, well, you're Tyee Mcmaster, right? That's who I have on my roster. And I'm like,
huh?
Yeah. And I'm like,
interesting.
Well, that is my name, but I never played tennis. And she convinced me to we talked, and she convinced me to just come out for the first day of practice just to see if I liked the team, see how it is, because we had so low numbers that year. That was her first year, and there hadn't been a lot of recruiting prior to that because she just came into the job. And so I came and tried out, and I was the worst person on the team my freshman year for sure, but it was a great experience. The team was awesome, There was real brotherhood there.
Wow, that's an awesome story. I didn't even know that, dude. That's super cool. Thank you for sharing that. And what is your favorite thing about the game of tennis?
For me personally, since I didn't grow up playing tennis, I don't have that strong. I don't want to say that strong love for the game itself, but just the competition in general. I love.
Okay. No, dude, that's perfectly fine, dude. Yeah. That's a great answer.
Yeah, that and just the general friendships you make on the team.
Yeah.
That's been the biggest thing that's really kept me there. Has just been how great the people are.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. And what would you the most difficult part of the sport of tennis is?
Yeah, I think it depends on what level you're playing at. At the Division III level, all you have to do, I don't want to make it too simple, but all you really have to do at the D3 level is just put the ball back and make the opponent make the first mistake.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got you.
You don't have to hit crazy winners against a lot of schools. When we play the Division II schools, you do, but in Division III, you really just have to let your opponent make the first mistake. It's all in your head there. Like, you have the ability to get most balls back. It's just mentally whether you have the correct headspace to know to play it safe rather than go for a crazy winner.
I gotcha. And Tyee, what is one trait that you think it takes to be successful in the game of tennis?
I think the biggest thing is just to have the mind of B, just zero.
The mind of a B, like
a B.
Huh?
Like zero.
Never heard that before. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if that's an actual expression.
I like it though. I like it.
It might be. I don't know, but yeah, just to immediately forget all those little mistakes. It's always on to the next point. And when I'm playing, I break it down even further, and I'm just focused on each individual shot. I'm looking far enough ahead strategically as I need to within the point, but I don't look to a point after the one I'm on. I'm always in the present.
Wow, it's good stuff, man. That's awesome. Interesting answer. And for you, Tyee, why did you choose W&J? I mean, I know that you didn't play tennis in high school, and you're obviously from down there in Waynesburg, where one of our radio hosts, Brendan Gooseman, is from. So why did you choose to stay close to home and go to W&J?
Yeah, I was originally going to go to Bucknell, but I changed my mind about a month and a half before my freshman year because I guess I felt that W&J's their student faculty ratio was really good. I felt that you'd get a more personal experience here. You get a lot more one-on-one time with your professors. And then I've only ever heard good things about the professors here. My father worked here for a long time.
Really? Cool. What did he do?
Had some relationships. He was chief financial officer, so like the vice president of business and finance, and then he was the interim president before Dr. Knapp.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't even know that. That's awesome. Now, I want to ask you, Ty, how do you want to be remembered at W&J?
That's a good question. Not one I've really thought about a lot. I don't know.
It's interesting. I mean, it is one that I've added to the program, and it wasn't one that I used to ask except seniors, but like, I think it's just a question, like, we all have this idea of we want to create a legacy, but we don't often think about what we want it to be. So I think I've heard some great answers, but I think people have to come up with it on the fly. So I'm interested to hear your answer.
Yeah. Well, I guess since I've just converted this past spring to Catholicism, I suppose being a man of faith would be the primary thing I'd like to be remembered as. But aside from that, I don't know. I haven't given it much thought. I suppose just I don't know, someone who cares about others.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a central component of Christianity too. And you know, I think we'd definitely benefit from doing something that wasn't on like W&J, maybe like a little podcast on religion. But I know it's a big part of your life.
Yeah.
I know you also love studying theology. So what drew you to that? I know you've listened to a lot of Dr. Peterson's his biblical, the psychology of the Bible series, which is very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
That's a thick milkshake though. It's a lot to listen to that podcast. I've listened to a couple of the episodes. It's tough though. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah. Well, the first lecture is, I forget how many hours, but
it's like, I think it's 2 or 3, isn't it?
But yeah, I believe the first lecture on the series of analyzing Genesis only goes over the first sentence of Genesis. He spends those several hours analyzing just one sentence of Genesis. It's that deep. But I rewind a couple years. I was an atheist coming into college. And then the summer before my freshman year, I read 12 Rules for Life by Dr. Peterson. And that got me interested in his work. I looked at the lecture series, and then after about 19 to 20 hours of diving into that, around that mark, I became convinced that there was more to Christianity than I thought there was. It had a lot deeper meaning than I expected, and so that and then Pascal's wager really.
I'm not familiar with that.
So with regard to religion, basically, if God does not exist and you're an atheist, you don't believe in God, then there's no issue really, right? Like it doesn't matter if you believe or not if he doesn't exist.
Right.
But if he does exist, at least according to some denominations, then you have to be a believer, in order to be saved under ordinary circumstances. So if he does exist, then you would probably want to do your research, due diligence to it, and make sure you have a real understanding of whether or not.
Interesting. I think 12 Rules for Life definitely moved, like in my personal experience with religion, has like definitely moved me that way. And I think one of the most interesting chapters in that was like when he breaks down the scene when Jesus is in the desert, and like it's talking about temptation, what it really means, like for ex deus machina. What does it mean? And like, that doesn't really happen in life. That's not how God works. It says don't tempt your God. I think that's just an example of a chapter that's just really solid. Yeah. Analytically breaking things down. I love watching it. I think like the whole idea of taking responsibility and making your corner, stand straight up with your head up, your shoulders back. Yeah. It's all great stuff. And with all this learning you're talking about doing, Ty, on your own accord, what do you learn about at W&J? What's your major here at W&J?
I'm a poli-sci and econ major at W&J. So I came in wanting to do finance. I took the poli-sci and econ route instead of finance, and I'm not 100% decided, but the plan right now is to get a master's in econ after W&J, and then from there I'll decide I might go on to law school if that's the route I want to take.
Okay, awesome. And what's your favorite class that you've taken at W&J?
I think it's one I'm in right now, classical philosophy with Dr. Osborne.
Okay.
It touches on Plato, Aristotle, and then the next unit's on the Stoics, actually. So I'm really excited to talk about that.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely fun to talk about. And have you heard the allegory of the cave with Plato?
Yeah, we just read that in the Republic.
Okay, awesome.
The other day.
What do you think about that?
I mean, it has
So many applications, I feel like.
It does, and I read it in high school on its own, and there's some really profound truths that can be derived from that, but once you read it in the context of the Republic, I think it just adds...
Okay, see, I've never read it in the context.
Yeah.
But I know that ultimately Aristotle was killed, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I don't want to spoil it because I think everyone should read it from their own before they hear it, but the idea of like, I think it really applies to modern society with our idea of like misinformation and going and sticking in our tribalism and not wanting to hear truth. Like the idea of like what is a shadow and what is real is very interesting.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the reason Socrates was killed as well. The corrupting the youth charges, and just influencing politicians like us.
Yeah, it's like, man, the more things change, the more they stay the same. It's so similar to our politics nowadays, man. I with Dr. Osborne, I've taken moral philosophy. Took metaphysics with him.
I really want to take metaphysics.
Kyron Mitchell is one of the smartest people I've met. I'm sure he had a great game tonight. I'm pretty sure they ended up winning their basketball game tonight, I would guess. But anyway, he got an A. I got a B. It was one of the most difficult classes I've ever taken. We talked about the ship of Theseus. I don't know if you're familiar with that for like 4 weeks, and I was like, dude, I don't care if this is a ship or not.
So what was your opinion on that? Is it the same ship? Or?
So for those who don't know at home, the ship of Theseus, the idea is there's a ship that is a hero ship. It's done a lot in battle, and it's slowly taken apart, board by board, nail by nail, and put back together in a warehouse. Some people have variations where it's put back together in the water at the same time. So there's a lot of options. So I'd say as for the warehouse, that would probably be my answer, that would be the same ship. If you took it apart and put it together in the warehouse. Although the argument against that would be there's a certain way the hands that put it together, it's not the same ship. If you put it together in the same water, it might not have any of its original parts. But all the parts were removed. Well, I can't get on board with that because it's not the same ship.
Yeah.
But it's removed by one. Dude, it's and then we talked about time travel. We talked about what it means to be a person. Yeah. Which went into a couple Star Trek episodes we watched and we broke down because there was I don't know if you watched Star. I'm honest to be honest, I don't really like Star Trek. More of a Star Wars guy myself personally.
Same.
But like the phaser or whatever, they transport somewhere else. They would get split into two, or two people would combine one. But who's the person? Yeah. So I definitely take that one. I think you'd enjoy it. Yeah. I think you'd enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, I in my free time I like to read the Summa Theologiae by St. Thomas Aquinas, and Aquinas is heavily influenced by Aristotle.
Right.
And obviously Aristotle's metaphysics. Well, I would assume you guys maybe read that in that class. I'm not sure, but
I read St. Thomas Aquinas in moral philosophy because we talked about his because he had a very famous code of morality that many people in the Catholic Church still base their morality off today.
Yeah, like natural law theology.
Natural law theory, yes, exactly. Yes, we read natural law theory.
Yeah, but Aristotelian metaphysics heavily influenced Thomistic metaphysics, which is the specific branch that I'm interested in.
Okay, cool. I'd have to get more into the Thomistic. I haven't heard of that.
Thomistic metaphysics.
Okay.
Just meaning St. Thomas's.
St. Thomas's. Yeah, I mean, I know he wrote the natural law theory is real long, isn't it? Like if you read it in itself, I think it's. And I know he had scribes too. He never wrote any of it. I think we talked about.
Yeah, like the Summa.
And he would just walk around the room and just I feel bad for Bro sitting at the desk because he was probably just trying to write. You know what I mean? Back in the day, obviously they didn't have typewriters or anything. Yeah, no, that's really interesting, man. And so law school maybe. Okay, cool. Now I got another question for you, Ty. If you could give advice to yourself on the first day of college that you were a freshman, you walk into that dorm and you can talk to that kid who walks in the dorm, what are you going to tell them?
Oh man, okay, so this is probably not the answer I should say, but
no, be honest, man. Go for it.
But probably just don't go to school. You know, that's maybe that's not the best answer, but I feel as though just going and getting actual work experience would have been just as valuable, so long as I'm putting in the effort to read and learn on my own.
Yeah.
Assuming you're not going to like a graduate school where you need that degree,
Right.
but I would be just as content if I went to a trade school, even if I did HVAC or
Yeah, and I think you bring up an interesting point because I just saw I think Instagram wrote it. This guy was talking about it's like all of Harvard's CIS courses are online.
Yeah, they're free.
They're absolutely free.
You can go take them yourself.
Anyone can earn a degree in Harvard CIS if they wanted to right now. Right now. And like reading books, like basically anything you learn in college, you learn in the internet. Now you can't get a degree like you get from college.
Yeah.
Which in the job market, in some areas, they're still around, but in a lot of areas, they're not. And I think like I'm gonna be like honest, like people in the future, like if you don't play sports, if that's not a part of your journey, like if you don't want to do something like this, like a communications thing that you need to do it through the school, which even that, like bro, like it's been. I think about this a lot. It's like people say like you can do a podcast anywhere, and I've done some like with the mic'd up stuff, but like I think being part of this community, because I think for a podcast to grow. And I've been so blessed to see this, expand and be able to go this long. But I think for able to gain some steam, be able to maintain over multiple seasons of a podcast, like you have to have some sort of base. Like Joe Rogan's base at first was UFC. Mm-hmm. Like Jordan Peterson was in the academic base first. Yeah. Like what is this first book that you wrote?
Maps of Meaning.
Maps of Meaning. Yeah, that's a thick milkshake. I've read passages of that. But like you have to have your base. So you can expand to the general population. So hopefully people like to say like I could do something with the podcast. Like would I want to do that? I mean, yeah, but also sometimes you just gotta pick stuff and do it. But I guess at the same time, like I love being part of this like student athlete culture. And I think that's kind of my base, and I've learned to really just embrace that. And whatever, reaching out to whoever can wait, because I think the cool part about this for me has been able just to learn people's stories, and this is like our podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't mean to put college down in any way.
I think it's an interesting point. It's prompt straight discussion.
Yeah, there's a lot of great things you can take with that. A lot of it's just the general college experience, or
learn to be by yourself for the first time.
Yeah, independence. All of those are great things. Just building friendships, lifelong friendships. Those are all useful. But as far as just like actually learning material, you can do all of that online. Pretty much, you can find sources somewhere for free if you look.
For sure, that's a great point. And in the internet, you got all that knowledge out there. So yeah, for sure. And Tom, my next question for you is: if you had to listen to one musical artist for the rest of your life, who would it be?
That's a great question. Right now, oh man,
you seem like a country guy. Are you a country fan?
I like a lot of music. I think one forever. Thinking either the Beatles or Steve Miller Band.
Steve,
I don't know. That's a really tough one.
I know a lot of people say the Beatles are overhyped, like musically.
Maybe, but they have so many great songs. Even though some of the lyrics mean nothing, absolutely nothing.
But there are a lot that mean a lot. I mean, obviously.
But yeah, a lot of.
John Lennon was like, not a great guy, but in his home life, obviously. But like, he did write a lot of deep lyrics. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, he wasn't. I mean, if you put it research, he wasn't the nicest guy to his family at home.
Yeah,
but okay, wow, I like people to take it back with the answer. Steve Miller Band. What's this?
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say right now, artist Zach Bryan would be.
Someone said that. Who said that? Cade Patterson last week said that.
Okay, respect.
Yeah, no, and Steve. What's the song Steve Miller Band sings? Like, some people call me the space cowboy. Mm-hmm. What song is that? What song?
Call me. Is it the Joker?
The Joker. Yes, great song. All right, great answer. And Tom, my next question for you is: if you had a free Saturday with no plans, no commitments, and money wasn't an issue, what would you do?
Well, Saturdays they do confession at IC, so I'd go to confession.
Okay.
And then mass, and then if they had adoration, that'd be sweet.
Okay.
So I don't know. That would be my ideal day.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I appreciate you being honest about your spiritual journey on here.
Yeah.
It's awesome, man.
I'm not a very fun guy. Church is my thing, so.
Oh, dude, well, that's if that's what you're thinking. That's what's fun to you. That's awesome. Yeah. That's no, man, that's really cool. Are you still RA here at school?
Yeah.
What building are you RA in?
upper class second floor. I've requested it every year. I'm gonna probably be there next year.
All right. Do you got is that a cost in all them, or are they the floor above? I think the basketball guys are the floor above. And who's is Jacek your co-RA?
Yeah, Jacek is third floor.
We just had him on the show 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really? Yeah. And then Ty Lachlan. I don't know if you know him.
Okay.
Yeah, he's sophomore. He's the first floor RA.
All right, cool. Any crazy stories there, or is it pretty chill in there? I've heard it's not bad. Upper class isn't too bad.
No, not too bad.
It gets a little loud
We got
sometimes.
egged, or the bathroom got egged outside the building just a week or two ago. But I mean, upper class is upper class.
All right, interesting. My next question for you, and I'm interested to hear your answer here. Oh, I might have to add one for you. Okay, my first one though is, what is your favorite movie of all time and why?
Favorite movie of all time? Just recently watched The Godfather for the first time, and I don't know that it's my favorite, but I think it's the greatest movie of all time.
Okay, I've never seen it. I need to watch it.
I think it fulfills everything that a movie should have, but favorite movie? Probably, man, I don't really think about this, but I'd have to say Saints and Soldiers. It's a World War II movie. Just follows the true story of some guys that get captured by Nazis, and then it's their originally they're trying to escape, and then they find a mission they have to do. Sort of. I don't want to spoil it.
Okay, cool. I just watched one on Netflix called The Forgotten Battle. Really
Okay,
good.
I've seen that, or I haven't watched it, but I've seen
I think you'd like it if you're into. I know you're a big history guy.
Yeah. I'm planning on watching that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I just watched. They had another one called All Quiet on the Western Front on Netflix. I'm watching that one right now. Really, really good stuff. You see 1917?
I don't think I did. Was
It's
that
really
a
good. It's the
single shot.
Yes, it's a single shot.
Okay, yeah.
My parents saw it with me. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. Who? Oh man, who's the director that made The Birds? That movie.
The Birds.
The Birds. Yeah, it's an old.
Oh, it's Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, Hitchcock. He has several movies that were made in one or two shots.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Interesting.
That's a really cool dynamic to a movie.
Yeah, I'm really, dude. I am really. I mean, obviously, I know you talk about Goose a lot, but I do love movies. I think we're talking about World War II history, because I know you're a history guy. I do like Band of Brothers, although it's not technically a movie.
Yeah.
So it's also good. Saving Private Ryan is obviously a classic, but I'd say Band of Brothers is probably my favorite.
Yeah. What's the Unbroken? Unbroken was pretty decent.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Oh, Fury with Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
There's one called Defiance about these three brothers in Estonia during the Holocaust, and they sneak like so many Jews. I forgot how many Jewish people they saved, but like, you know, thousands of Jewish people out of a ghetto, and they just they live in the woods and they save all these people. It's really interesting. It's what Daniel Craig, the guy who plays James Bond, is a kid. Yeah, I check it out. You'd like it.
Okay.
You'd like
I
it for
think I
sure.
would like that.
All right. Yeah. No, for sure.
This
Awesome.
is turning into Take a Gander with
Stu.
Yeah.
Take a something with Stu. Nah, but I'll save the movie discussion for Goose. Now, I gotta ask you. I asked Jalen and Bella when they came on about how to improve my forehand. I gotta ask you, Ty. I really want to improve my serve. How do I improve my serve?
Improve your serve. Okay. Your first thing is your toss, because the toss is immediately going to be a variable on every serve. You have to get the toss consistent.
Right.
So I guess stance first, but yeah, toss needs to be consistent. So if you have whatever your forward foot is, you know, you're facing, if you're right-handed.
I'm left-handed.
You're left-handed, so you're facing to the left. Your right foot's forward towards the net post. You want to get that toss so it's like a foot towards the net post. That's where it should land each time. And so that isn't really the form of the serve, but if you get that variable consistent, it becomes a constant rather than a variable, and so it makes it much easier to develop the rest of your serve.
So that's just like practice tossing the ball up and down. You would say that's like a big key.
Yeah, just getting consistent with the first part of the serve, which is the toss. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. I gotta definitely work on that.
Yeah.
Ty, thanks for that great conversation. I really enjoyed talking to you about the podcast and all that stuff. And you know, I actually do want to hit you with one. If you could only read one book for the rest of your life, what would it be? I guess you'd say maybe the Bible. But,
Yeah, the Holy Bible. There you go.
Okay, there you go. Answer my question.
Yeah.
Now, Ty, it's time for trivia time tonight.
Yeah.
And your trivia question, I don't think we need a break to go to this one. I think you're just going to rock with it right here.
Okay.
What 4 tournaments are needed in tennis to win a Grand Slam?
The French Open, the Australian Open, the U.S. Open, and Wimbledon.
You listen again?
U.S. Open, French Open,
Correct.
Australian Open,
Correct.
and
So you said Australian,
And
U.S. Australian, U.S.
yeah, French,
Yes. Correct.
and Wimbledon.
That's correct. You're a winner on tonight's trivia segment.
Yeah.
Congrats, Ty. That seemed real easy for you.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Only a handful of tennis players have incorporated this, including Maureen Conley, Margaret Smith Court, Steffi Graf, Dawn Budge, Rod Lever, who managed to win the Grand Slam twice. So, a little trivia for you tennis fans there at home. And Ty, this has been such a fun episode,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. So, I won't reread you the Marcus Aurelius quote because you heard it before, and you are a Stoicism fan, so I'm sure you've heard of that sort of sentiment before. So I'm going to step back. I'm going to let you take us home for tonight. Ty, it's time for the quote of the day.
The quote of the day is by Dr. Jordan Peterson. It profoundly changed my life. And Dr. Peterson says to assume that whoever you're listening to might have something to say that you don't know. So the basic idea behind that is that you should be sort of like an active listener rather than just waiting for someone to finish speaking. That way you can say the point you want to get. You should actually take a second to register what they're saying, understand it, and then speak to what they're saying rather than what you think they're going to say.
I took the exact same thing from that section. I was like, you know, how many people in life are active listening instead of just waiting for you to shut up, stick and run their mouth? And I think with this podcast, that's been a big goal of mine. Is always to learn from people. I think I want to keep that mindset going forward, and I think it's always a good mindset to have to want to learn. And you don't know what people have in their story to tell. You know what I mean? And you can learn a lot from it. So Ty, thank you so much for that quote of the day, and thank you for coming on the show tonight. It has been a ton of fun. You got to come back sometime, and good luck in the spring season with tennis.
All right, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. Anytime, man. I look forward to some conversations philosophically outside of this as well. Well, everyone, it's been a fun show. We've got approximately 4 episodes left. Might have a couple alumni series, but most likely just 4 episodes left in season 5 of the present tense. We'll be back not next Tuesday, not next Thursday. We are on Thanksgiving break. But we come back next week. After that, I'm looking to line up some people who've come on the show before, some big-time guests. Those episodes are going to be a lot of fun. Everyone have a great Thanksgiving break. We're going to keep it pushing, keep living free, and everyone have a great night. And remember to live in the present tense.